Good morning. My name's Steve Zesserman, and I'm a double bass player in the San Antonio Symphony. I was going to be playing at the library, but unfortunately we had to shelter in place due to the coronavirus. So here I am at my house. It's Friday morning. We've been sheltering in place for a while. Sometimes I lose track of days. So yeah, this is my house, and hopefully we won't get. Oh, there's Tortilla. I have an orange cat, and I have Bella. She's a black and white cat. I'm not sure, she might jump in. She does. You won't see her, I think, because the camera. Oh, there's Bella. And I have Mocha, and I have Xena. Those are my two dogs. And so here we are at the house, and so I thought I would just share a little bit of information about me. And I've been a member of the San Antonio Symphony for 30 years. I came from, before then I was principal bass of the Charleston Symphony for 2 years. And before that I was, I lived in Philadelphia. I went to the Curtis Institute of Music. That's where I graduated. A little funny story, when I was in Charleston, the city boy, I remember there was, they were talking about the possibility of canceling a concert due to a storm coming. And I was like, what are you talking about? What's the big deal? It's some rain. And they're like, no, you don't seem to understand. It's a big storm. And I was like, and? So of course, I was this, 22-year-old kid, and I just thought we'd take our umbrellas and play the concert, no big deal. So I remember watching on television, they were talking about this storm brewing in the Atlantic, and it was coming, churning up the East Coast. And then it started, by the way, the storm was like the size of Texas, and it started going due east, basically towards me in Charleston. And I was like, oh, what is that? And that was Hurricane Hugo. So needless to say, I evacuated, and we were out of an orchestra for almost 6 months, fixing the roads and so forth. That was quite an eye-opening experience back then in my early 20s. And here we are 30 years later, and having to go through something like this, it's been quite interesting. Hopefully everyone's safe out there. Again, I'm sheltered here, but I did want to reach out to all the physicians and the nurses for taking care of us during this time of need. Even people that are working at HEB, all the police and firemen. I want to really, on behalf of my family and the civilians, I want to give a heartfelt thank you for everything that you're doing for us and keeping us safe during this pandemic. Okay, so this is my bass. It was made over a couple 100 years ago, and this is my double bass bow. It was made actually in Philadelphia. I love my bow and I love my bass. What I wanted to talk a little bit about is a children's concert that we did a couple of weeks ago. As a musician in the San Antonio Symphony, I'm one of 6 double bass players. And our job is to blend, certainly to follow our principal's lead, but to give what the conductor needs from the basses. We are part of this incredible organism that we have playing at the Tobin Center each and every week when we're up and running. So I really can't talk about my ideas, about how I think a particular piece should be interpreted, because there's 72 people on stage, sometimes 70, sometimes we have 80 people on stage. So we have to just observe and communicate together as an organism to give what the conductor wants. But since I'm here, what I'd like to do is discuss a piece that we played for a children's concert called The Elephant, L'Éléphant, from Camille Saint-Saëns, Carnival of the Animals. And at that time, the whole bass section played. It's called a soli, S-O-L-I, plural. Conversely, solo, singular. That would be if we have a solo in our part, our principal bassist, Thomas Huckabee, would be performing that. But for soli, the whole section plays. And so we all played together. Hi, Bella. And so we played the elephant. So I wanted to play the elephant for you today. But I kind of want to ask the children to kind of imagine the elephant. This is kind of how I imagine the elephant, but you could certainly imagine the elephant how you want. But I'm going to ask you, the way that I imagine an elephant is not a big elephant. I imagine an elephant as being really small, almost like as small as my dog, Mocha. She's 22. Well, actually, she's 26 pounds. She should be 22 pounds, but I keep feeding her because I love her too much. But small. And also, my elephant doesn't walk. It kind of hovers, like only 4 feet off the ground. I used to, when I was a little boy, I used to have dreams of I could fly, but only 4 feet off the ground. So as an adult, I would always think about when I play the elephant, that my elephant would hover off the ground. It was really small, and it smelled like lilac. Seriously, that's when I would teach a double bass lesson. I teach at UTSA and Trinity University, and if I'm teaching how to play the double bass, an introductory lesson, I would talk about my elephant, which I think about when I'm about to play. So maybe you can tell me if you think that the elephant that I'm about to play for you sounds like what I'm talking about. And then there's another part in the solo where my elephant doesn't swim, it goes into the water. Sorry, it doesn't fly, but it swims, it goes into the water. And it kind of meanders in the water, and then it flies out of the water. And then it goes back to flying 4 feet off the ground. Okay? All right, so this is The Elephant by Camille Saint-Saëns, Carnival of the Animals. Okay, so while I was playing it, I was thinking about my elephant flying around my house. Only 4 feet. Actually, 4 feet, you would see it. You'd be like, ooh, fly by. Little tiny elephant. Okay, and then that part that it dived into the water, that part here, that part. So I was thinking about it, he's just kind of like swimming around saying, hey, octopus, hey, Mr. Crab. And then he shoots back out and starts flying. Anyway, that's my elephant. I know, crazy. But I can do that because I'm a soloist. I can come up with incredible ideas as a musician, as an artist. We can create works of art. If I would play it again, I would probably play it differently. That's the beauty of being an artist. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my bow. It has horsehair, actually, and we call it salt and pepper, which means it has a mixture of white hair and black hair and brown hair and tan hair. I've got to clean the tip right there. See that? That's from the rosin that we use. I don't have any rosin around here, but it's very, very sticky. I don't like, especially when it's hot outside, I don't like leaving it sitting around because it would just basically melt on anything that I might have underneath it. So I always have to keep it in a container. My bass, we have 4 strings, just like a violin, just like a viola, just like a cello, although we are tuned in fourths. My top string is G, my middle string is a D, my next middle string is an A, and then we have a low E. But the only reason I have a low E is because my Stenholm machine is locked on that, but I could actually open it up to a low C. This gear up here is made by a gentleman that used to play in the San Antonio Symphony. His name is Mr. Stenholm. And he actually, when I first moved to San Antonio, I met him. He lived in Boerne, Texas. And this is a cool thing. So it's kind of like when I move my little finger here. See how the gears are moving? So you can play. It's kind of cool. They also, today, they've modernized this and they actually have fingered extensions, or actually fingered locks, but this is what I have on my instrument. So where was I? Oh, so the beauty of being able to play in fourths is we can play chords. If I put my first and second finger down. Oh, there's a lot of advantages. Actually, this instrument used to be only 3 strings, but it was altered to 4, probably sometime around the early 1900s. Let's see. I would like to play for you a piece that I learned many years ago, called Henry Eccles. This is the first movement of the Eccles Sonata. It's been transcribed for every instrument on the planet: saxophone, violin, viola, and double bass. Henry Eccles. So that was my double bass with my bow in my house. And that sound, I'm not sure if you can hear, is my cat litter. So listen, I really again want to reach out to the first responders, people working to supply food as we are sheltering here, all of us around the world. My heart goes out to you, all of the doctors, all the nurses. We can't thank you enough for what you're doing. And hopefully soon we can meet on stage at the Tobin, and I can play again with all my amazing colleagues whom I miss dearly. If you have supported in the past to the Symphony on behalf of my family, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you are ever considering to making a donation, of course there's other organizations too that need your monies, but we would certainly love it if you, any donation at all to the Symphony would be most appreciated. Hopefully we can see each other at the library. And I just want to thank you on behalf of my family, Mocha, Zena, Tortilla, and Bella. We want to wish you a very safe time through this very scary time in our lives. Be healthy, stay well, and when things come back, please come and join us at the Tobin. We'd love to see you. Bye-bye.